Hi folks, welcome to Podunk Barbecue's review of the RiverGrille 29-inch smoker charcoal grill. We picked this up from Home Depot a few months ago, um, for about 125 bucks, I think. We got a little bit of a discount on it, but anyway, it's a cheap smoker. It's thin-walled, so it's not going to retain heat well. So you're going to go through a lot more fuel, charcoal, wood, whatever you're going to be burning. Um, it's faster than you would if you were using, a more expensive, thicker smoker. But there's some nice features, and so let's go through that, and we'll talk about, how it performs and all that. So I've had this going for about 40 minutes now. You can see we've got the nice thin blue smoke, the infamous sign that you've got a good fire going. The outside has this thermometer here. It's all right. This one seems to be pretty close. What I did was I also bought a oven thermometer. We keep that inside here, and this says we're right at around 250, 253, and the outside one here says we're at about 220 on the outside. So it's off, but it's not so bad. Once you play with it a little bit and learn it, you'll be able to adjust your cooking times accordingly. So let's take a look at the firebox here. It's a real thin firebox. What I use to get my fire going here is the lump charcoal. It's called Royal Oak lump charcoal. For grilling, not the greatest because it doesn't have an even heat distribution, but when you're cooking indirectly, like we are with our smoker here, it works just fine. And you can light it up in a charcoal chimney in about 20 minutes, when it turns white on top and it's nice and hot. I dump it right in there with maybe a third of a bag or a quarter of a bag of some extra charcoal. Sorry about that, just dumped in there. And then I just take mixed hardwood, oak, maple, elder, whatever I have around, and I just throw it on there to get my base fire started, which is what we've got here. So control of the fire here is it takes work. You're not gonna want to do a long cook for your first cook on this. Chicken wings, chicken drumsticks, chicken in particular is a real good piece of meat to start with, to get the handle of smoking and barbecuing in general. So let's close this back down so that heat can get back into the chamber there. And on the side here we have our door. Here's our damper that controls the the heat. It's pretty cheap. You can get it pretty close to halfway before it just flops. So you got to leave it open. It does get hot, but this, when you open it up, you can shove more coal in if you want to, or you can put more. Wood in, and because it's cheap, these cheap little screws here, you probably can't see it very well. Let's see if we can. Cheap little screw there and there get pretty loose, and so you tighten them, and then it cools off, and then they're too tight, and you risk bending the flimsy metal on the outside here. So this is a nice feature, though, if you want to get more air into your fire than the little damper on the side will allow. But it's a nice little feature on a cheap grill. Let's close that back up so we can retain our heat. And so now this is going to be real tricky, right? Because we're doing a video now. So it's usually, so you can see that screw moving as I flip this open and close, which is just loosening it further. I'll have to fix that here in a minute. But you can tell that there is some leaks, you know, around the back side. I don't know if you can really see, but there you go. You know, but it's a cheap grill. You know, if you're just using it for, you know, doing chicken wings and stuff like that before a football game, tailgating, stuff like that, it's a nice little grill. You've got this damper control at the top for your smokestack. You know, open and close. It's not flopping around. This screw with the spring seems to do a pretty good job of holding it in place. I usually just leave it wide open, especially when I'm smoking. Little work rack on the side there. Overall construction is pretty flimsy. I bought mine fully assembled because I had read that there were some issues with people putting it together improperly and getting poor seals. So I guess I did have the advantage of going in, seeing how the lid opened and closed. You know, was it coming down and sealing well on the side like that? Looking along the side to make sure it's not off kilter or anything. But inside here, this is my little water pan to help keep it moist. I throw an apple in there. I'm going to smoke some chicken wings here in a little bit. But temps dropping. So we're going to throw some more wood in here, and what I like to do is, like I said, get my base fire going, like I have here, and then I'm just gonna throw in some more hardwood, and then when I get ready to smoke, I've got some hickory chunks and applewood chunks that I can throw in there to give it a nice flavor. So we'll come back here in a minute. Okay, we're back. You can see this thing is roaring now, so I'm going to close down the lid, cut down some of that oxygen that's getting in there. Now we'll be able to watch our pit temp come up. It should start climbing here pretty quickly. This thing really doesn't mess around. Yeah, you can see it climbing up there. So keep an eye on our stack here and make sure we're down to that nice thin, you know, blue smoke. And we'll go get the chicken here in a little bit after this comes back up to temp. So here we are in my kitchen. I've had these chicken wings marinating for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. These were whole wings, so I trimmed them myself. So you've got the little drumlet and that little wing portion, and then you just take that, you know, that end piece and you throw that away. I like doing that better. That just seems better than buying those giant bags of frozen chicken. This just is, it's nicer. You get meatier pieces. But anyway, so I've had this soaking in a marinade that's made up of a bottle of Italian dressing, about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and you know, about 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire sauce, however you say that. And then it soaks in there for, like I said, up to about 2 hours. You know, you can even go overnight, but it just it gives it a nice flavor. Oh, I also put in about a cup of hot sauce, Frank's hot sauce. So that just gives it a nice peppery flavor. It's not going to be overbearing. It's not going to be too hot. My kids can eat these and they enjoy them. So what we're going to do is take them out of here, towel dry them with a paper towel, so that the outside skin crisps up and we don't end up with a mushy, rubbery skin. We're going to cook them at a little higher temp today, probably around 270, 250, 275 on that Cattlemen smoker out there. All right, folks, we're back. I've got these pat dried. I'm just going to take my rub and dust them, flip them over and dust them. We'll get them nice and coated here. So we're just going to flip these over. We're going to get the other side real quick here. Okay, folks, we're back here. We're looking at our fire. It's kind of died down here. So what I'm going to do is stoke it up here. I've got some applewood chunks and some hickory chunks And we're just gonna throw those in there and let them get going, and then we're gonna add our chicken. That's gonna raise the temp of our pit, and we'll be good to go. All right, so I've got a healthy handful of apple chunks and hickory wood chunks in here, and I'm just gonna let those get going. Adjust my fire a little bit, and we're gonna let those catch, and we'll get our chicken on here. Okay, so we've added that wood. We've let's take a peek in here. You're not supposed to really, do that. They say if you're looking, you're not cooking, but we've got a good fire going there. Our pit is up to temp, so we're gonna start putting our chicken on here. And we're at about 250. That's super hot. What I'm gonna do is just lay these down. I've got my water pan here. That's gonna add a lot of moisture to the chicken so they don't dry out a ton. Let's see if I can squeeze one more in. And then I'm going to get my my oven thermometer. I'm going to set it right here in the middle. Oop. Set it right here. Yeah. So I have a good judge of where we're at. And I probably won't check these. This is probably going to take, I probably won't check these for another half an hour, but this is probably going to take all in all about an hour and a half to get these fully done. So let's close this down, get our temp back up. It's going to take a while since this is such a thin, like I said, a thin, cheap little smoker. But we'll watch the temperature gauge come up, and we'll just keep an eye on it. And if we need to back down the heat, then we'll close our dampers down on the side, or we can even adjust our the exhaust damper here. But for the most part, we're just going to let it go, do its thing. We're not going to open it. We're not going to mess with it. And we'll check back here in about a half an hour. Thanks. Still maintaining a great temp there. And I just threw in some more wood. We've got a beautiful fire going. So I'm going to back this down just a little bit here. Just like that, just so we can maintain, maintain our temperature inside, keep some air flowing in, but not burn that wood up super fast. Okay, we're at the hour mark here. We've maintained 275. We've got a beautiful smokestack going. So now we're gonna flip these babies over and maybe hit them with a little bit more of our rub. We're losing light here. It's early November here in Michigan, and we're losing light quick. So what we're gonna do is just flip these over real quick, get maybe a little bit more of our rub on here, and let them go for probably another half an hour to 40 minutes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to glaze them with some barbecue sauce, just to give them another layer of flavor. All right, folks, we're back at the smoker here. I'm just putting the finishing glaze on these chicken wings. It's been about an hour and 20 minutes total. I'm going to let this barbecue sauce set up on these wings for about 10 minutes total. I've already flipped them and did the other side, so I'm just giving them a healthy dose of this sauce. I'm really excited to try one of these. So let's bite into one of them. And you can see that it's cooked all the way through. Sorry, it's cooked all the way through. It's delicious. A nice mild smoke flavor. Juicy, it's not dried out, and my kids are going to love these. These are going to be delicious for any tailgate or a party you have at your house. Look at that juice, and that's just awesome. It's a little pink right here. That's just the smoke. It's penetrated the meat, and these are just outstanding. So do yourself a favor. If you're going to invest in a smoker, go get a little cheap one to start with, and use this recipe. I'll try to post it below for you to copy and use at home. Check out How to Barbecue Right with Malcolm Reed. He's got a great recipe. I basically stole his, and subscribe to his page, subscribe to mine, and stay tuned for more. Thanks.